My name is Hazel D. Loria, a third-year college student of Bachelor of Arts in English Language Studies, Block A, Jarvis Main Campus, the PNC. And for the assessment for Unit 6, I'll be reporting the whole content as well as the lessons under Unit 6. So first is, what is digital instructional materials, as that is the title of this unit. DIMs are defined as instructional materials that are conveyed via digital media. Examples of digital instructional materials are textbooks, we have pamphlets, applications, and other online supplementary resources. Now, for further information about what is digital instructional materials, we have advantages of technology in education. Now, the use of technology in teaching and learning in language and literature has the following advantages. Based from, according to Roman 2015, as cited in the module, we have first, learning becomes more exciting. This is because we are now in the 21st century where the technology is more advanced, and in teaching, the experience is multisensory and it is interactive in a way that students and teachers can both learn vice versa. Next is, we have distance is no longer a problem since it can access information and it is easier, and that is because of the internet. Because during the pandemic, I always remember that we have online classes, and because of the internet, because of rooms, our respective rooms, and have a quality education for that room. And then next is technology in developing instructional materials. It promotes independent learning since we engage now in a technological based learning. Now the students will learn independently and with only a little help of their parents as well as the instructor or the teacher. And last one is, it is flexible and adaptive in differentiated learning, such as technology can be used to help and match students' learning with his or her readiness and levels. Since we are now talking about the level of knowledge of the students, and when or how can that student be able to be ready in grasping all of the lessons prepared by the teacher. And then let's talk about customizing your PowerPoint presentation. Since teachers nowadays have tons of loads, especially in work, and they don't usually just teach students, they will also prepare reports, especially when they immediate or ASAP documents for their principals or whatever reports or documents is that. Customizing the PowerPoint presentation for a teacher will lessen his or her work, such as choosing templates and themes according to the topic of the teacher or what is his or her lessons for that specific session of her or his class. Now, let's go forward to the virtual museum. Usually these virtual museums are a collection of digital recorded images, sound files, text documents, and other data, historical, scientific, and cultural interests that are accessed through electronic media. I remember that when I was a kid, I have this app, an online app. It is an encyclopedian app where I can browse or search some informational data from my lessons way back in my elementary, and that is one good example of virtual museum, because before those pictures and encyclopedic book are in a form of printed materials. Now we have non-printed materials, and one example of that is virtual museum. Next, we have self-playing PowerPoint. A self-playing PowerPoint, one of the great example of this is when a teacher or when an instructor uses that PowerPoint in an app, or say for example Zoom, and then he or she will present that in the class, and that is only for a classroom. And to know the regardless of recipients' technical proficiency, of course, there are also some instances where the instructor or the teacher might have a problem in developing that kind of instructional materials. But however, thanks to the technology, you can browse it all over the internet. And we have the game-based PowerPoint. Since a teacher or an instructor must have at least an assessment, and in that way they will think about any activities or games they will produce to work with their students. And a game-based PowerPoint is very important, where even if a PowerPoint is a multi-app what you call this one? Yeah, it is actually an app where you cannot just lay down all the information you needed to present to your students, but you can also make a game out of that PowerPoint. Next, we have a podcast. Now, a podcast is a recording of an audio discussion on a specific topic like business or travels. And this is very rampant kind of instructional materials for vloggers, because aside from vlogging, they also made a podcast like Chris and Slater Young. They are one of the common influencers where they can teach some business. And some of Spotify's are also inspirational, especially for those students who need some inspiration in despite of the problems they are into. Next is we have, according to Roman again in 2015, he enumerated the following e-learning platforms. We have Moodle, Google Classroom, and that is only the three. Now let's focus on the Google Classroom. We all know that Google Classroom, way back in pandemic time, we don't usually know that kind of app, but since that it was introduced through our instructors way back then, and then we were able to explore that kind of app that is way much helper, and we can utilize it through sending our outputs, as well as those teachers who want to give their modules where they can share it together with the enrolled students in that specific class. And it's very helpful in making the life of a teacher and a student much more easier compared before. Without the Google Classroom, of course, it's very difficult and hard to have an online classroom. Now let's focus to the videos in education. The use of videos stimulates a cognitive processes of thinking, reasoning, problem solving, and decision making. Usually, under videos in education, there are important things to consider as to conduct such activities for teacher or serves as instructional materials. First, we have how-to videos. Usually, in my own perception, how-to videos are those videos having a step-by-step guide on how to make a certain topic. For example, my how-to videos is how to be a good student. Of course, those are videos that are much for the viewers to learn more efficient and in a quick way of how to be a good student. Next is we have instructional videos. Although this instructional videos is much similarly to how-to videos, but it is more straightforward to have the users or the viewers, and it is one of the most popular kind of videoing, especially, and it's also one way to demonstrate the method to show expertise in a certain practices. And we have the digital storytelling. In digital storytelling, there are three types. We have personal narrative stories that examines historical narratives, and we have stories that informs, and teachers that can use digital storytelling in many ways, such as in a research, in the synthesis, large amounts of contents, and gain expertise in the use of digital tools. Just to shorten what I'm saying is that digital storytelling is just to narrate a specific topic in efficient and concrete way. And for the last one, we have a sample online teaching for tools and teachers. I only pick one, which is Zoom, since I have more particular about this app. And yeah, basically, a Zoom is a virtual conferencing tool in addition to hosting and recording meetings. And also, a Zoom can be used for officers, live lectures, and recording micro lectures. Students can use it to communicate with classmates, students, groups, works, and etc. So basically, a Zoom is an app where you can, where an host, for example, me as a host, can invite many students or many participants depending on my kind of agenda, whatever that is, and then they can actively participate whenever I am conducting a session or a seminar. And since also Zoom is very flexible type of an app, is very helpful, and it is one of the examples of how technology really advanced in today's world. That's all for the report. I hope you learned something, and goodbye. This is Hazel again.